My name is Brian Mason. I work for the National Fire Department. Today I'm going to be doing a presentation over rescue rope and rope maintenance. All right. So let's see here. The objectives are review construction of rescue rope, review the inspection and care of rescue rope, and review the characteristics used of rescue rope. In the fire services, there are two primary types of rope that we use. One is life safety rope, which is used to support people during rescue operations and is always made from synthetic materials. This type of rope is used only for life-saving purposes, never used as utility rope. Synthetic rope are made of nylon, which is the most common material used to make synthetic rope. Polyester is the second most commonly used material to make synthetic rope, and polypropylene is the lightest of the materials to make synthetic rope. Polypropylene synthetic ropes are best used for water rescue, but not for life safety. Life safety ropes are rated for either one or two persons. NFPA 1983 specifies design, construction, and performance criteria. One person rope is classified as a light-duty life safety rope and is designed to hold 300 pounds, 136 kilograms. Two-person rope is classified as generally duty life safety rope and is designed to hold 600 pounds, 273 kilograms. Personal escape rope is used only for self-rescue in extreme situations. Designed for the weight of one person, personal escape rope should be replaced after one use. Always have an escape route and use the rope only at last resort. Utility rope is used in most cases when it's not necessary to support a person. Used for hoisting, lowering, securing tools and equipment. Requires regular inspection. Must not be used where life safety rope is needed. I just kind of wrote like some terms on the board, so I just went over the life safety rope, the utility rope, and the escape rope. Anybody have any questions or anything? Okay. All right, no, sir. Okay, I'll proceed. Okay, next what I want to cover is the different types of rope. So these are the different types of rope: the twisted rope, the braided rope, and the curmantle. The twisted and the braided rope, they're natural rope, and we don't pretty much use that anymore. They're kind of like old school or whatnot. And the curmantle rope is a synthetic rope, and it's kind of pretty much what everybody uses. In 1938, they come up with polyester, so pretty much phased all of these out, and then you have your curmantle rope. Okay. But I'm just going to cover in detail the different types of rope materials. Ropes can be made from natural or synthetic fibers. Earliest ropes were made from natural vines woven together. Natural rope fibers were often made of manila. The manila fibers were woven together at different lengths to form strands of rope. Important reminder, these ropes are not used for life safety under any circumstances. Disadvantages of natural fiber ropes are subject to mildew and deterioration. Many absorb 50% of their weight in water and very difficult to dry. Now ropes are made of synthetic material. There are different materials used in different situations. Nylon is the material mostly used for synthetic ropes, and it was manufactured in 1938. There are other types of synthetic materials that's used: polyester, polypropylene, and polyethylene. Advantages of synthetic ropes: it is stronger than natural fibers. The fibers run the entire length of the rope for greater strength and safety. Synthetic fibers is more resistant to rotting and mildew. Synthetic rope is more resistant to melting and burning and less absorbent and can be washed and dried. And some synthetic rope will float. But the rope that floats, you're not really supposed to use that for life safety. It's more for like water rescue or whatnot. Okay. So there are a few disadvantages to using synthetic rope, like prolonged exposure to ultraviolet light, strong acids or alkalis can damage the rope. And synthetic rope is highly susceptible to abrasions and cuttings. And later on, we're going to get Firefighter Francis. He's going to kind of show how to examine the rope to check for any abrasions or anything that's wrong with the life safety rope. Common rope constructions includes the following types. So I'm gonna go back to those natural fibers. The twisted rope construction, also called laid ropes, made of individual fibers twisted into the strands. Strands are twisted to make rope. Disadvantage of the twisted rope is all fibers are exposed to abrasions and are prone to unravel. Braided rope construction, strands are woven together like hair braid. Fibers stretch but not prone to twisting, and double braiding can protect the inner core of the rope. Kermantle rope is the third kind, and again, that's the synthetic rope. But kermantle rope construction consists of two parts, the kern and the mantle. The kern is the center core and provides 70% of the rope strength. The mantle is the sheath-like braid covering that protects the kern from dirt and abrasions. The kern and the mantle are synthetic material, but may be different material. Each fiber in the kern extends the entire length of the rope, and it provides a very strong and flexible rope that is thin and lightweight. I just want to ask, let's see here. Just gonna throw a couple random questions. So, what is another name for the twisted rope? You guys remember? Would it be, let's see, would it be kermantle, would it be braided, or would it be laid ropes? Let's take it, you guys can take a guess.
Go ahead, Francis. What was the opposite instruction?
Twisted rope, braided rope, or laid rope?
For synthetic?
For actually the twisted rope. It's just another name. What's another name for the twisted rope?
Laid.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, is this true or false? Braided rope constructions are made of individual fibers twisted into strands. True or false?
True.
That's actually false. That's what the twisted rope is. The braided ropes are kind of like braided together or whatnot. Okay. All right. So there are actually like two different types of kermantle rope. There's a dynamic and a static. So the dynamic rope construction is designed to be elastic and it stretches under load. It usually is used by mountain climbers. Dynamic is constructed with overlapping or woven fibers in the core. When loaded, the fibers pull together, giving elasticity. The static rope has a limited range of elasticity. It will not stretch under load. The static design is more suitable for rescue situations. Many rope rescue teams carry both of the kermantle rope, static and dynamic. Static is constructed with all fibers parallel to each other, little elasticity, and limited elongation when loaded. And you guys got any questions or anything? Okay. So next I'm just gonna cover like some of the NFPA standards as far as like ropes and inspections and keeping them clean and things of that nature. I actually want to give you guys these to look at real quick. These are a couple handouts. It kind of shows the difference between the braided, the twisted, and the kermantle rope. So you guys can look at that and pass that around. I also have a handout. It kind of shows what I talked about earlier, like the weight, like what it can support, like the personal escape rope, life safety rope, and the utility rope. Okay. So the NFPA 1983, it's the standard for life safety rope and equipment for emergency services. Okay. That includes basic criteria for cleaning, decontamination, and the storage of life safety rope. Following the manufacturer's instructions is always recommended. NFPA 1858 makes organizations use life safety rope responsible for its care. While these steps may seem simple and mundane, the importance of taking them seriously can't be emphasized enough, as lives can depend on the rope's strength during the rescue. It's nearly impossible to avoid dirtying rope during rescue operations. Proper cleaning is key to reliable performance, given that simple dirt and grit causes wear that reduces a rope's breaking strength and lifespan. Typically, rope soiled with mud or dirt only requires general cleaning with a specified detergent and water. While manufacturer instructions for cleaning and drying should be precedent, NFPA outlines a procedure that can be followed when no instructions are provided. You will need a hose, a tub, a non-detergent soap, and an appropriate place for it to dry. Guys, any questions? Everybody? Okay. Next, we're gonna kind of talk about like contaminated rope or whatnot. So contaminated rope requires special handling and care. Some contaminants, such as blood or chemicals, could require more aggressive cleaning, as well as a special handling or care. Rope is known or suspected to have come in contact with hazardous materials should be evaluated on the scene to determine whether it must be isolated, tagged, bagged, and removed from service until it can properly be decontaminated. Once the contamination is identified, you should consult the rope manufacturer's information to determine the course of action. These instructions should outline the proper decontamination process in which cleaning agents can be safely used. In fact, NFPA 1983 requires that manufacturers to be contacted prior to disinfecting or cleaning life safety rope with any method not prescribed in the maintenance procedure to avoid impacting its integrity. So there's kind of like a little acronym that they use that we're gonna cover in a little bit, and I'm just gonna pass this out. It's pretty much like a rope care. Care, clean, inspect, and store. And each one of those, they have like certain parts for each one, and I'll kind of break that down, but I just wanted to kind of pass that out. Okay. Contamination from bodily fluids is a particular concern due to potential exposure to blood-borne pathogens or other infectious substances. If that type of contamination occurs during a rescue, life safety rope can be cleaned using chlorine bleach according to the fire department's protocol for decontaminating equipment. With a small amount of bleach, it's safe for a single decontamination. It's vital that the life safety rope is then thoroughly rinsed to avoid significant strength loss. And read this carefully. Repeating the process multiple times can cause damage that can be difficult to detect through visual inspections, rendering the rope unsafe. So pretty much what they're saying is, I guess there's like a fine line between using the bleach. If you use too much bleach or clean it with the bleach too much often, I think it kind of breaks down the rope fiber or the strength of the rope. So they're saying in a basic situation, we would more or less just use detergent and warm water and then just let the rope dry or whatnot. But if you do have contaminations, then you're gonna have to do something to clean it. And that's gonna be like bleach or whatnot. Okay. Proper storage is the key to avoiding the rope. Even properly stored rope can lose strength over time. So it's critical to store life safety rope in a way that avoids degradation from the environment. Rope should be kept in a cool, clean, dry, well-ventilated place away from direct sunlight and extreme heat. Synthetic rope can be severely weakened by prolonged exposure to ultraviolet rays. With discoloration or broken filaments on the rope surface serving as warning signs of damage. So I know that that's kind of like the advantage what they're saying with the synthetic rope, because it doesn't have to be directly in the sun. You can take it out in the sunlight and it'll actually dry faster than with the twisted rope. If you guys remember, they were saying the twisted rope can take up to 50% of its weight just with water. So it's going to be hard to dry, it's going to be heavy, and then it's probably going to fall apart anyway with it just being twisted or whatnot. Rope should be kept off the floor, preferably on racks that are provided. Rope bags are recommended for storing and transporting life safety rope. To avoid tangling inside the bag, rope should be flaked or laid in a forward reverse flat pattern that allows for fast, safe removal when needed. After each use, switch the ropes in so that the end that was used going into the first bag. Thread that end through the garment in the end of the bag and tie in a figure 8 knot to secure the rope in place. After the rope is placed, tie its other end through the bag's other garment. The video shows how the rope bag works. So we don't actually have a video, but we're gonna have firefighter Pope. He's gonna kind of demonstrate how you kind of clean the rope, how you kind of how you kind of look for damages in the rope. Proper care of life safety rope, strong and reliable in emergencies. Diligently clean the storage of the life safety rope is essential for avoiding damage that could cause it to fail during rappelling or rescue operations. Follow the simple steps above to extend the effective lifespan of your rope, ensuring it has enough strength when you need it most. And pass this little handout. It's just kind of like, so we're about to do rope maintenance, and it kind of talks about the principles to preserve the rope, and it's kind of things you look for. And again, firefighter Pope is going to, firefighter Francis is going to show us how to examine it. But when you examine it, you just kind of look for sharp things in the rope, abrasive surfaces, heat or chemicals or flames can obviously damage the rope. Rubbing the rope together, the rope being exposed to sunlight, prolonged sunlight, and you always want to follow the manufacturer's recommendation. And believe it or not, one of the big things is they don't want you to step on the rope. Stepping on the rope on the seams or whatever can actually mess the rope up as well. Okay. So far as rope maintenance, the first portion of the rope maintenance is going to be care. So protect the rope from sharp or braided surfaces. Use an edge protector when the rope must pass over a sharp or unpadded surface. Protect the rope from heat, chemicals, and flames. Protect the rope from rubbing against from another rope. Friction generates heat, which can damage or destroy the rope. Protect the rope from prolonged exposure to sunlight. Ultraviolet radiation can damage the rope.
Engine 6, truck 26, medic
Never stop,
21,
never step on
engine
the rope.
56, I-24 westbound, MBA.
Your footsteps can force shards of glass, splinters, and abrasion particles into the core of the rope, damaging the fire.
21,
You can
engine
stop. You can pause
56,
it.
I-24.
Okay. So, never step on the rope. Your footsteps could force shards of glass, splinters, or abrasive particles into the core of the rope, damaging the rope fire. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations on how to care for it. Next is how to clean the rope. A special rope washer can be attached to a garden hose. Some manufacturers recommend placing the rope in a mesh bag and washing it in a front-load washing machine. Always use mild detergent. Do not use bleach because it damages the rope fibers, which we kind of talked about earlier. But I mean, in some decontamination situations, you're kind of forced to use bleach because, you have to clean the rope or whatnot, unless you're going to just disregard, throw the rope away because it's been contaminated. And it also says, follow the manufacturer's recommendations for specific care of the rope. Do not pack or store wet or damp rope. Air drying is usually recommended, but ropes should not be dried in direct sunlight. The use of mechanical drying machines is not usually recommended. The third step is going to be inspecting the rope, which what firefighter Francis is about to do. So unused rope should be inspected on a regular schedule. If it's used, if it's not, if it's utility, if it's life safety, all ropes should be inspected. And then it should be written down and documented. Some departments inspect all rope, including life safety and utility ropes, every 3 months. Obtain the inspection criteria from the rope manufacturer. So all ropes are going to have different times they need inspections, or just depending on what the manufacturer says. Inspect the rope visually, looking for cuts, frays, and other damages as you run it through your fingers. Signs of possible deterioration would be discoloration, shiny marks from heat or friction, damaged sheath, or cord fibers poking through the rope. So right now, since we're talking about that, we're just going to get firefighter Francis. He's just going to kind of go through the rope and just kind of show you a brief of what you would do to kind of inspect the rope.
Okay, so anytime, as firefighter Massey's teaching us, anytime you do an inspection of the rope, what you're going to look for is your look at your mantle, which is the outer And then you're going to feel for your kern, which is the inner. You want to feel just to see if there's like any kind of, you don't look for any, as he was saying, any abrasions. You don't feel like any abnormalities. Like if there's the kern is broken inside, you'll feel like a little dimple in there, kind of like a little dip, like there's something missing. If it's bunched up in there somewhere because of, it breaks somewhere, like, and it's, sometimes it'll kind of bunch up in there and you'll feel a knot. Anytime you feel that, it needs to be taken out of service because obviously there's some kind of defect with it. You just want to look for abrasions, any cuts, nicks, make sure there's no glass, make sure there's no rocks or anything like that that's inside of the rope.
All right, well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Very good.
Okay. Thank you, Firefighter Francis. Because you cannot see the inner core of the kermantle, feel for any depressions, flat spots, or lumps or on the inside, which Firefighter Francis just explained to us. Examine the sheath for any discolorations, abrasions, or flat spots. If you have any doubt about whether the rope has been damaged, consult with your company owners. Always be safe than sorry. A life safety rope that can no longer be used must be destroyed, but in some cases, it can be used as a utility rope. It can be downgraded, just depending on what's wrong with it or whatever. But you would still want to check with your company officer to make sure that's okay. Maybe check the rope's manufacturer's recommendations before you just place anything in for utility rope. And you still want to make sure the rope is still good to use even as utility. A downgraded rope must be clearly marked so that it cannot be confused with life safety rope. So obviously, if you take it out of service as a life safety rope and you downgrade it to utility rope, you want to make sure that you put something on it or so people know not to use it as life safety rope because it's being taken, so something's wrong with it because it's being taken out of service. Each piece of rope must be marked for identification, and a paper or computer rope record must be kept for each piece of life safety rope. This record should include a history of when the rope was purchased, each time it was used, and how it was used, and the types of loads applied to it. Each inspection should also be recorded. Many fire departments maintain records for both utility and life safety. And the last part of the rope maintenance is going to be store. So store ropes away from temperatures extremes, out of sunlight, and in areas where there are some air circulation. Because remember, the UV rays from the sunlight can ultimately damage the rope, the synthetic rope, the kermantle rope. Avoid placing ropes where fumes from gasoline, oils, or hydraulic fuels can damage the rope. Apparatus compartments used to store ropes should be separate from compartments used to store any oil-based products or machinery powered by gasoline or diesel. So nothing gets spilled on the rope and it doesn't mess the rope up or hurt the integrity of the rope. Do not place any heavy objects on top of the rope. Rope bags are used to protect and store rope. Each bag should contain only one rope. Rope may also be coiled for storage. That's one way you can store it as well. You can coil the rope for storage. That's one of the recommended ways to actually store the rope. For very long pieces of rope are sometimes stored on reels. And rope that has been shock loaded should be inspected and may have to be removed from service. So if you know anything is you had a bunch of shock or something's dropped or you're doing a rescue and it might not have went the way that you anticipated, it's always good to examine that rope to make sure that it can still be a life safety rope and you might not have to downgrade it to get rid of it. Okay. And although there might not be visible damage, a shock loading may cause damage that is not immediately apparent. So just like Firefighter Francis showed us, it's important to take the rope and examine the current, the mammal, and make sure everything is working the way it should work, because we never would want to, save somebody or, attempt to do a rescue and then the rope is it's not up to its full strength. Okay. And accurate rope records will help identify potential damage to like any rope or any situations that may occur. Okay. Do you guys have any questions, or is there anything, any questions or anything?
No, yeah, pretty much
laid it out for us, Instructor.
Okay. Well, I actually have a little quiz I need you guys to take, and